Hello and welcome to episode 3, and I hope you enjoyed the shoestring intro. But I'm very proud of that, and hopefully it gives you some sort of idea of what you're about to listen to. This is a re-recording. I've got a very patient guest who I asked back, just so we could update the quality. And if you are watching on YouTube, you will see our two beautiful faces, all with lockdown hair. I'm sure, Stuart, you're the same as me at the moment. Today, is there someone out there for everyone? And there's two different views here. I'm a single bloke, and Stuart's not. He's a married man with kids. He is the envy of many. So, with that, it's always best to talk to the people that hold these positions. I'm not the man to do that. So, I thought I'd have a chat with him instead. So, Stuart, again, thank you for coming back. Sorry to drag you back twice, mate. The first one was great, but we'll try and stick to our bullet points a little bit better. And how are you, first and foremost? How are you keeping?
I'm good. Really good. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. As you can see, I've donned a white denim jacket today, mate. I'm trying to
I
live
didn't
life on the
notice
edge.
that.
Yes, I don't know if it's 70s or 80s, but it's certainly not 2021. That I've gathered straight
Oh.
away.
We
Um,
still hold on to being born in the 80s, don't we?
we do. I was in it for 7 months. What about yourself?
13. Born in 88
So
December.
you're there you go. Well, it still means that we've lived in an extra decade. So I can't believe we're
Yeah.
still considered millennials. I
I
was
don't get that.
no, no. I mean, we were born before the Mega Drive, so surely in my mind that means we're sort of the last lot. But I did. It was I was talking to the other day. We were, I think, the last lot to sort of go through school without smartphones. I mean, we had the old free massive video recorder phones, but we didn't have Google. Yeah, and you had the flippy lens around the top. You remember those ones?
Oh, it's horrible. And you could spin the camera as well, couldn't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. And they were shit. Actually, they were
Yeah, yeah.
terrible. Yeah, they weren't good. But yeah, with obviously life as it is, and now we've actually got an end point to look forward to, albeit in June. I know everyone's booking festivals and all this sort of stuff, which I think is probably running before we're walking. I have to be honest. Have you got any immediate plans for the summer other than finding a pub, I would imagine?
Oh, hopefully going outside. Went outside today, wife and kids just for a walk because it was like the first notice of summer. Or
Oh,
like actual warm,
it has been a
beautiful today.
gleaming.
But we're planning on because you get stuck in what you just keep working and doing things. Like we're planning as soon as lockdown's finished, any day that we can do, just go out.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
do
absolutely.
anything. Just go out, go somewhere. And as soon as I think it's convenient. Lockdown finishes officially 21st of June. England play 22nd.
They did move to fixture, didn't they? Because I think they were originally supposed to play the
Yeah,
Czechs on the 20th. I mean, I have to be honest.
yeah.
I personally haven't drunk since October. I had one day, uh, a day with my mate Adam, and I woke up quite late on my sofa. I had no idea how I got it, and I live in the sticks at the moment, so I've clearly drunk too much of his lager. Then he brought out a bottle of Johnny Walker Black, so we had a few too many whiskies, and I felt like death for about a day and a half, and I haven't missed it. But saying that, busy, bustling pub, loads of people, football on. I can see my restraint of not drinking not lasting very long. I have to be honest. Have you been
No,
boozing
it's
all
gonna
the way
be.
through?
I think most of last year, like my home drinking shot up massively.
Yes.
Just because there was like nothing to do. There was literally nothing to do. Everywhere was closed. There's nothing else you can do other than sit home and drink
Yeah, yeah, no, I
and
see your point.
eat.
Yeah, I have to admit the eating. I mean, luckily it didn't. I didn't get too much of that. I have to be honest. I was with my aunt and uncle, and they do like drink at home. But I've always been a social drinker, so it's always been when I've gone outside. And I tried drinking indoors. I say tried. No, don't have to put a lot of effort into doing it. But I'll probably get 3 cans. I drink Stella. I'm one of those filthy drinkers. So 3 cans of Stella, and I'm like, That's me done, mate. And I didn't get a feel for it. And it's the same with the food as well. I think if anything, I got to a certain weight and I vape as well, to be fair. And that it's like smoking still. It curbs your hunger, but I quit smoking and started a worse habit in vaping because I vape way more than what I ever smoked. And it just
I
curbs your
used to
hunger.
vape.
Sorry?
Yeah, I used to vape, and I used to vape, and it's literally when you have a cigarette, you can have one cigarette, have the next one like an hour or two later.
Mm.
But when you're vaping, you're constantly vaping.
Exactly that. I mean, I have to apologize because I did the same with Mark, which Mark's video will also be uploaded, and it's like a dummy, mate. It really is. And the thing I've got, I mean, I buy like the big ones, and I bought 8 last week. I'm down to 3, and it's just that regular. So with this new thing I'm starting on YouTube, which if you are listening, check out the YouTube channel Coulingknows. It starts Monday, and I've got a full diet plan and all this. But the main thing, so I've got to eat all this food. I've got to double up what I'm eating, but the decent stuff. So it's a lot more decent stuff to count away my Twix in the evening, you know. But
Yeah, definitely.
I've got to knock this on the head because it's just I'll have a couple of pub sips in the evening or a couple regular every 3 or 4 minutes or something, and I won't eat. So I've got to knock this on the head. So I mean, hopefully it goes all right, but I've got to do the old 2 liters of water as well. And because we're in lockdown, it's the perfect time because I've got no Weatherspoons that is available for a steak and
Yeah.
pint for a 5.5 or whatever it is. Yeah, I don't know. It's all these changing things. When I was talking to Mark, my last guest, as you said, obviously you're going to make the most of going out all the time. Obviously, your better half, I should say, followed me on Instagram, so I saw a couple of pictures of you guys sort of out and about. Are you doing that sort of as regular as you can at the moment? Is it something you did before? Is it now? Let's make the most of this. We can't do fuck all else. Let's go out and make the most of our time.
Well, we did things before, but I think with now, I'm like, because it's easier to think, fuck it, let's just stay at home. Regardless of what the weather's outside, we just stay at home, and staying at home's great. I love being at home. But then it's a case of let's not waste what we got now. I think lockdown's made a lot of people realise if you want to do something, just do it.
Yeah, exactly. Tomorrow's never promised, isn't it?
Exactly.
I have to admit, it's the thing. I was supposed to go to Poland. And I keep mentioning this because I'm so fucked off about it. I've had it cancelled twice now. I was supposed to go to a wedding in Malta in September. That was also cancelled. But why didn't I go the years before? I've got the same freedom than what I had. And it's again, I had this mindset, no, that can wait. And I think now that we've had this sort of experience, it's no, let's not wait anymore. Let's just go get it done. And
Yeah, definitely. There's no point waiting because it's one of those things like before. It's like, I can wait. I'll do it next year. I'll do it next year. Do it next year.
yeah.
Well, now you might not be able to do it next year.
No, exactly that. I mean, I think it's just sort of life in general. Like today, which is also a crowbar in for the plug. But me and my lad ran 5K today for the Stroke Association. Just giving pages on the Facebook page if you do want to donate. And yeah, 2 years ago, well, it's just under 2 years ago. I'm nearly 2 years of recovery now. And so let's just say May, not last year, year before. Being sick every day. My boys helping me walk down the road. And he was 9. Right? He's coming up to nearly turning 12. And he just run 5 kilometers with me, which is 3 miles. And I'm still staggered that I've got a lad who's in secondary school, let alone let alone the fact my son just ran what you can consider a long distance run with me. And it's, when did that happen? When did you get this old? When did you grow up this quick? And
Yeah, definitely.
they seem to be your marker, don't they? Because I mean, today was a bit of a shock when I was struggling and he's there going, "Go on, Dad, you can do it." Hang on, mate. We're
He's
running long
pushing you.
distance. Yeah.
How many times did you stop?
To be fair, we got from anyone who knows the general area, we sort of run through How Mills, got to Liddles, which I think is about 2.5K. He stopped. Then I'm going to stand proud for this. He stopped like I said, don't stop. I said, just slow yourself down. As soon as you stop, you bollocks. It's hard to get yourself going. And then we went up Sandy's or through Southampton, Winchester Road, and I stopped as we were going up the roundabout. I just again slow it down. So we didn't actually stop, hands on hips, huff, puff, puff. It was just to slow yourself right down. So you've got those poxy jogs where you're just still sort of moving.
Yeah.
And what it took us 40 minutes. I mean, they say 8 minutes a mile, so 25 minutes is a good time for 5K. Well, he's done no football since beginning of December, just a lot of Xbox. And I'm probably the fittest I've ever been, but that doesn't mean I'm fit. That's a big thing. So I believe we did quite well, but just the fact we got to the end of it. I mean, well, it's just a very proud that moment anyway. But yeah, that just. I mean, what's it next time? Am I going to go drive Route 66 with him driving? Is that the next big thing before I realise how old he is? And again, it's just time goes past, doesn't it? Flies past. And obviously, you're 33 this year. Obviously, going by my quick maths.
Oh, cheers for that. I appreciate that.
So I've got 32 pending. I think it's the one big thing. It's given all of us a very long time to have a look at ourselves. Or I know some people have just sort of seen the bad side of it, but I've sort of tried seeing the good side, and let's make the most of our time and do something with it. But it's been like a double kick in the bollocks, because by the time I've looked back on myself, I haven't liked it. Now I want to do something and I can't. So I'm just sort of waiting for that. Yeah, you can go, and off we go. But it's just hard to keep entertained in the meantime. I mean, there's only so many walks kids want to go on, or that I want to go on. Basingstoke isn't the prettiest place in the world, is it? So much.
The other day we took the kids out for a walk. I don't know if you're at Cliddeston.
Oh yes, yeah.
Because we don't live too far from there, so we went over the bridge over the M3, just walked around the farmland bit over there. And I was thinking, like, that's the first walk we've done as a family for the whole of lockdown, and that was last week.
Blimey! So yeah,
because it's literally like not going outside at all. I'm like, we took the kids to the park today, and the amount of parents that are in that park and things like, we sat outside the park on the grass because there's no point. And I don't know, my fucking anxiety started getting off, thinking there's probably about 20 or 30 parents in this small fenced-in park. I'm thinking, you still don't get it.
See, I do agree with you there. I mean, I don't think I was a nickety sort of person anyway, but and again, it's all open to interpretation. People say it's a hoax, and believe whatever you fucking want to believe, right? But unless you're a scientist and you're fucking fully backed, I ain't believing you, which I think is fair. No one's going to listen to me about my views on COVID and what you should and shouldn't do, because I wouldn't be bold enough to give that advice anyway. But you hear about it now. I do think, do you know what? I wish you'd fuck off out of it, mate. Wait for me to move before you lean over me, and it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult to get back to a point where you don't mind being near someone. And again, we don't know what the future holds. But I've only just got to a point of actually accepting that I can't, if I met you, I can't shake your hand. So every greeting I have with anybody, even if I'm just walking past them, I find incredibly difficult. Because with girls,
it's weird.
Yeah, it's normally, how are you, love? How you been? I hope you're doing well, girl. Hello, mate. How are you? Now I've got to stand 2 meters away and say, all right. To start with, it was elbows, but now you can't even, you can't get near anyone. It's
not even a real interaction, is it?
No, it doesn't feel like it.
You're just stood on the other side of the road to someone, really, just chatting away, and it's a load of bollocks. But I just can't wait for it all to finish.
It would be nice for it to pass. I think we've got to adapt. I mean, we've adapted quite well. I know there's a lot of people that kick up stinking. I try and steer away from it because everyone's got their own view on it. And I know some people that are complete anti-vaxxers and don't get it. It'll do this to you, it'll do that to you. And other people that are like, yep, sign me up, jab me up. And again, it's wherever you take. I do feel like what was always on the fringe, like when you used to just get the nutters used to be out of the way. And I'm using the term natter quite broadly here. And I don't mean to offend anybody if I do, but the flat earthers, those were the five fellas over there that no one dealt with. You know, you listened to it,
Yeah.
you entertained it, but now there's loads of them, and they've all found each other online as well. And then you've got all the, you know, meat is murder vegans. They're all over there and they're all kicking up, and it just seems to be like what used to be on the fringes that we didn't pay attention to has gone all mainstream. So I was having a bar. I wasn't even a Barney. I asked a question, which I should never do, on the local Gazette Facebook page of all things. I mean, they get slandered every time they put anything up. And
Oh, well done.
this woman was it was about people having an exemption card for face masks, and she said, "I'm not a Jew." I don't understand your religion stuff. She goes, "Well, the Nazis made Jews wear a star," and I was like, "That is some." Is that what you're putting it to?
That's a comparison. Wow.
I was like, that's bold, love. And she goes, I shouldn't have to share my medical history. I'm saying, no, you're right, you shouldn't. But you have done all on social media for everyone to read.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, it's again, it's everything sort of splits the world now. I love watching it. I'm not willing to talk about it. It's the same.
See,
with
I'm the opposite there. If someone asks, I'll put my full opinion on it, and I won't back down on it. And it's like I was talking to someone the other day at work, and they were talking about the exemption cards and the, you know, not having to wear face masks. And I said, really, if you've got like an underlying health condition that you can't wear a face mask because it affects your breathing, and there's a respiratory virus going around, out of everyone, you should really wear a face mask.
Yeah, it's going to be more beneficial. Yeah.
Come on, like
it's again. I mean, I use the example of, well, we'll take the P's from the disabled drivers. I said, if they don't have to declare their vulnerabilities, their disabilities, then why do we give them P's? They said because they've been checked by the government. And I said, yeah, someone's actually said, yeah, you're fine, you can have that. You're self-declaring, but you're self-declaring and not willing to share it. So. And again, I'm more likely to play devil's advocate because I'll ask a question that I do want to know. I'm not just there poking, you know, the grizzly bear. But it's just split so many people, and that's the thing. Anything that has an opinion now just seems to cut everyone off. Everyone's an opinion now, and I find it incredibly difficult.
I mean, there's, you know, things people talk about, like you say, like the nutters, things like that. You let them have their piece, but then really, it's like you don't really care what they're going on about. As long as it doesn't affect you in a negative way, you're not really fussed. But nowadays, you have to have an opinion on everything. And if you don't, you've offended them.
Yeah, you can't sit. You can't sit on the fence. I got nabbed because when I first started doing the YouTube, it's all gone. Thankfully, it's all gone. I got I wouldn't know what the term was, but there was a tie-dye wearing, big boot wearing female. Even that's offensive to some. I was using the term female, but she comes steaming up to me to interrupt me in my Greg steak bake. I was on my lunch break as well. And she was telling me how milk is rape and meat is murder and all this business. And I just, look, you do you, right? But don't interrupt me fucking lunch. Okay. And then I asked some questions and then she gave me some answers and I thought, all right, well, let's actually give her a little bit of decency. Not that she gave me any at all. She ran up to me. And I started looking into all the vegans and that again. I mean, it's just gone wild. Like the feminists as well. It's like the last conversation I had on Twitter, and I stay well out of these now. I know my place, and certainly with this platform as such, it's easier for me to just stay away. But I'm a white straight male, and therefore I am, one, the most privileged, two, would not understand, and three, I'm that privileged, I wouldn't know any better. And I said, so what are we talking about here? Are we judging people on sex? Yes. But I'm a white straight male. You just told me that. Yes, exactly. And you're the most. I'm like, can you not see the hypocrisy here? Can you really not see where this is going wrong? And that I was levied with that about 5, 6 times. So I just went, too much Twitter for me, mate. I put the phone down. I left
Yeah,
it
definitely.
be. It's bizarre, but it's also quite difficult on the reason why we are talking. I'm obviously single, but I looked at the dating side of things. I've come to the terms or the term that I need to find a good friend of mine that's also single and probably settle for a gay sexless relationship because I don't know if
That's
it's
not
the
really
fact
gay then, is it?
it's not, but it's someone that we share doing the dishes and we just don't blow each other. And it's yeah, I don't know if it's lockdown or it's the fact that maybe I feel like I'm too switched on or I'm too picky. It could be the simple fact of that. But I think I conceded the fact that I'm just gonna have to wait for this person to sort of drift into my life now.
It's one of those things. If you're looking, I always think you're never going to find it. Just let it happen. You
I
could
think you're
meet
perfectly
someone
right.
tomorrow. You could
Well,
meet someone tomorrow in some way,
yeah, see, I
changes
mean,
everything. But
this was sort of the thought behind it was, well, I can't bump into anyone at the moment. When I knew we had some longevity in staying in, I thought we'd try the online dating stuff. It's not for me. I tried it, been there, tried it. But when I speak to my friend, I mean, you're married, a very good friend of mine's married. Um, Another very good friend of mine, he was due to be married in September. Obviously, that's been postponed, and they're actually due a little now. So I think the wedding stuff will go back for a while. But everyone's sort of at that point of time. And I was asked, they said, "But what age did you think you would be married?" I don't think I ever gave it a thought.
I never thought about it once.
No, so I mean,
It's
I don't
just,
know if it's just a male thing that we just take it as it comes, or I know like every woman wants to have her day. And I'm probably wrong in branding every woman, but it's their day. Did you see that with your wedding? It was more, let's make sure she has her day, make sure she enjoys it. Actually, even though you had a quick one.
it was, it was definitely that. It was all about making things right. I mean, I think at one point I spent most of the reception afterwards making sure everything was sorted, like
Everything was
for a
okay.
good, like going back and forth before actually enjoying myself, making sure she was enjoying herself, all the guests were all good, instead of enjoying myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Because it was
mean,
more,
it was also like the day for you to host, but it's also just so she's got nothing to worry about as well. I understand
yeah,
that
yeah.
completely. Would
But
you
it's not. It's the most stressful day of your life.
see that I have heard
On the guy's side, it's the stressfulest day of your life.
I was best man for my mate Lee, who will be on later on in the series, and he turned up late. So I thought this is fine. I'll just do what I need to do and make sure they're all right. He was late. One of the other groomsmen didn't have any cufflinks, and yeah, I quickly become stressed. I ordered myself a whiskey before buying him one beforehand, and I was like, "How did you keep on touch?" But he was after that. He was just on it. The food wasn't right for him, and this wasn't right, and this isn't what I paid for and booked. And I, Lee, it's your day, mate. And he said, "Yeah, but I paid a lot of money. I want to make sure this is fine for Fran. I want to make sure it's all decent. It's all good." I was like, your day." But then again, I wasn't in the boat. I think I was just more of relax. Everyone's having a good time. But when you arrange it, you want to make sure it is the best it can be. So obviously, you don't want to have two of these. Yeah, that's pretty sure. Anyway, you don't plan on getting married
Oh, well,
several times.
the intention is not doing it twice,
No, exactly that. You only want to do it the once.
and it's expensive.
That I can certainly imagine. My mum actually, she was due to get married September again. That was postponed. So they get married September this year. Touch wood. And yeah, they've spent a lot. It's only in a hotel here in Basingstoke, but I say only. It's nice hotel, nice day, but yeah, they and I've put some hours into cough up all that stuff, and it is a mega bucks. As soon as you
I
say
think,
wedding as well, isn't it?
oh yeah, it seems that. But I think like the Apollo hotel, they have wedding packages for like £3 grand. But then when you look at what you get for that £3 grand, you have nothing to worry about at all. They literally do everything. So I suppose
Mm,
in that sense, you're paying for the convenience of not having to do anything. They will do it all.
yeah, Like,
still, that's a lot of money to put in and a lot of trust to put into someone else to do it. Like, it's taking everything out of your hands and they're organising everything.
mm,
That's a bit, I'd get nervous about that one.
yeah, I have to admit, our mutual friend Dean, um, he got married there last January, and I think that they paid for some sort of package where he had influence on how it was. But I mean,
Yeah.
also him as an individual is just mellow anyway. But he seemed to be all right. I think it was more of her family were doing the pointing out, where it's more trouble if you interrupt the in-laws rather than let them be nickety picky. I think you have one of those sort of situations. But yeah, as soon as you put anything on it, so I am just checking to see, and Nathan Heaney did win. Yeah, he won. Let me just right, let's have a look. So claims over a decision over Ryan Oliver to move to 11-0, 3 KOs. And who would you next one see? Nathan Heaney. Yep, he won. He beat Oliver. That makes him, I think, 11 professional fights. So, Nath, I doubt you'll ever listen to this, but you do message me on occasion, mate. Well done. And on TV as well. So, yeah, that's always good. That's always good, especially with England losing the rugby earlier today. I mean, we're only playing Wales, but I can't say only playing Wales. Wales are bloody good. And we can't say anything defamatory, mate, because we may have some Welsh listeners. So we've got to be noble in defeat, I think.
I don't know, though. It's like England versus Wales, derby, isn't it?
Wow, if they're only across that bridge, do we have to pay?
No, I don't think you do.
I remember when we used to, and it was about £7 or £5.80 for a car last time I went over it.
Yeah, you don't have to pay anymore, just straight over, done.
Yeah, because it was always, you had to pay to get in there, but it's free to come back. I kind of thought, hang on. So, come on, yeah, very bizarre, very bizarre. Well, let's get to some bullet points before we skip away. We've covered COVID. But yes, yeah, all in all, is there someone out there for everyone? You obviously found, when you found your other, how did that all come together?
We met at work.
Oh, it was a working.
Yeah, we was paid positions working in charity shops. She was my boss.
Ah, well, they normally say don't poke the payroll, but clearly you proved them wrong.
Well, we're working different. Like, I was contracted to work there, work with volunteers with special needs, help them do stuff, and she was a trainee manager there.
Right.
So kind of had different things, but as she was a trainee manager, at some point she would be in charge.
So, was it you that made the move?
No.
Oh,
no.
And do you hold this against her?
No, not at all. I mean, like, it's weird. Like, you seeing what my wife looks like, so it's a case of knowing your level. Now, when I first met her, like, gorgeous girl, way out of my league. Sometimes you're like, I could give it a go, but it's probably not going to work out.
Yeah, are you willing to take the rejection? Yeah.
Why waste your time? And then when she made a move, I'm like, I'm diving straight in.
Yeah, you don't get asked twice, mate. Yeah.
Oh, definitely not.
I have to admit, with sort of the leagues, like, see, with my limited history, shall we say, what I found is we always have a bad perception of ourselves anyway. I think we always do. There's always something that you want to change, something that you don't like about yourself, and we hold ourselves back. Probably don't give ourselves enough credit for. So when you do feel like you're shooting high, I have to admit, when I've actually had conversations with these top tier, let's just say top tier in my mind, top tier, you find yourself settling. As in, I at one point spent some time with stunner, gorgeous, but there was fuck all about her.
Yeah, they can be a bit thick.
Yeah, I mean,
they can like that's like the good thing is my wife's gorgeous, but she can have a conversation. We talk about politics, about religion, about COVID, about the economy, about everything and anything, which is absolutely spot on. But you can like meet girls that are stunning, but they can't have a conversation.
Yeah, it's having that. Do you put it down to intellect? I mean, I can't deal with the dumb. Oh, that's very bold, but I can't deal with the dumb if I can't chance it. I mean, it's one of the things I have trouble. Anyone under 25, 26, no, probably actually 26, 27, anyone under that age, I struggle just for general chit chat. I have to be honest.
It's difficult because like you could ask someone like, you know, what have you been up to, and all they want to talk about is something like Love Island.
Yeah, yeah,
Can't deal with it. Can't deal with it. I want to have a normal conversation. I want to talk about, even most of the time you talk about stuff, it's all just shit anyway. You're just yammering on to each other.
Mm.
But it's not about nothing.
Exactly. I mean, you normally have to find some middle ground. I mean, I can jabber with the best of them, but it's just sometimes I think it's not for me. It's not.
The thing, you don't always have to agree either. Like me and the wife, we don't agree on everything.
No,
But I
and
think
you
it
shouldn't.
helps as well, you know, because if you agree on everything, the conversation,
It's one way.
yeah, it's nothing's crap. But if you disagree, not have arguments, but like have a different opinion, talk about it, and it makes a great conversation.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that. If we all agreed, I mean, life would just be boring. It would be all the same. So you got to have some diversity within your views, and so I'll be honest. I've had some relationships where political views have been different, and then it's been shaky territory for them. And I'm like, no, I'm no right winger, right? I'm not anything like that.
You
I'm
haven't got a
not.
swastika on your forehead or
No,
anything
I'm
like that, you
not
know.
fucking patriotic and we don't surrender and any of this sort of shit. Well, I shouldn't say patriotic because I am. I'm British, I'm English, and I'm happy for it. But yeah, I'm not part of your EDL or any of that business. But look, my view is, I'd say, particularly conservative. And they're going, I don't know, in what way? In what way have I just, you've asked a question. I've tried dodging it many times because I don't like talking politics with people because people always look at you different. And again, if I was a proper right winger or a fan of the alt right, I can understand that. But I just like the party that got elected. I'm like, so I can't be that far out of frame because they're the elected party. That's that's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
nothing to it. Well, I'm Lib Dems. I'm like, well, that's fine. You do you, baby, all right? Whatever, that's fine. They're like, but I don't know, I'm like,
Yes,
wow.
it's you get a lot of people like I like conservative.
Yeah, I mean,
Labour's the one that I really can't stand.
I have to admit, during the last election, I got stopped. I mean, I voted Tories because I've never been out of work when Tories have been in power. Nor has any of my family. Their policies just sort of suit me. And again, it's all individual. You vote for what suits you. And you had this youth boom, didn't you? And they say all the students voting and all this sort of stuff. And I went and did my vote. And as I walked out, there was a very scruffy, I have to say, student. About three of them. They said, "Who did you vote for, mate?" I said, "All right, bit of a faux pas there, mate. You don't ask people that."
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then he was telling me all the benefits about communism. I was like, okay. And he pulls a wallet out, and the wallet had a flag of the Soviet Union on it. And I went, what are you trying
What
to
the
achieve here,
fuck
mate?
is wrong with you?
Exactly. But the problem is, it was all four of them that agreed. So again, as you do, you get on Twitter, and then if you voted Tories, you're a nonce. I'm like, no. You're an adult now, okay? You're an adult. That's why you're allowed to vote. We don't say shit like that because you're an adult. And it really did put me on the back
Yeah.
foot and think this might all go a little bit peak tongue here. And again, it's democracy. Whoever votes the most gets. That's what it is. That's what we want. Don't want any corruption. And it really did make me think, oh fuck, everyone's taken a real deep interest in politics. But I think what they've taken a small bit of information from Twitter or Facebook. 'Cause that's where everyone is, and then they've made assumptions, and it's not
Yeah,
necessarily
and
always true.
that's the worst thing you can do. I mean, I think one thing like this is one the last election. You know when you get the leaflets through the door and you get like about 10 of them every day,
Yeah.
every different party. I'm looking at all these leaflets, going through them all. I'm looking at Labour, looking at Green Party, and it's all going, why you should vote for us, why you shouldn't vote for them.
Yeah.
But then when I look at the Conservative one, it's why you should vote for us.
Yeah,
Nothing about why you shouldn't vote for them. And I thought that's actually pretty good, because it's like, this is us. That's
it. Yeah,
That's it. It's not trying to talk shit about anyone else or things like this. Because that's what I feel like last election, most of the time with like Labour, literally, most of the time, all they done was chat shit about the other parties.
Mm.
And it's like, well, instead of talking shit about them, tell us what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's very slanderous anyway, isn't it? It's like when they say the honourable gentleman, and then they spout shit about him. Then they come back and say, oh, yes, yeah, and the honourable gentleman, and again, spout shit. It's just posh, tough walls, basically, isn't it? But it did sort of make me wonder. I thought, it's good that everyone pays an interest, because we should. I knew people that didn't vote, and they said, well, it's you forfeited your right to discuss it, mate.
Yeah, you can't comment on any. If you don't vote, you can't comment at all.
Exactly. So therefore, I don't want to hear your view, because it means shit. You had your chance, you haven't done it, so I don't want to fucking know. But it is something I try and dodge, because I think it must have only been the last 2-3 years. It's just taken huge interest. But the bad side of it is that everyone's judging everyone else on their political views. And the first thing we've done, which I believe is wrong, is we've actually said where we stand with it. I always think you should sort of play it to your chest. No one needs to know. It's all right. We're citizens. We're allowed to vote. Just obviously in this conversation, I'm happy to share it. But there will be people that will go against you, and there's probably people now that are thinking, "Fucking knew it." Oh, didn't like him, because I've had it before. I've had a general conversation with someone, and they say, "I bet you voted Brexit, didn't you?" Which I didn't vote. I wasn't registered to vote at the time. But you voted, and I'm like, "How did you come to that conclusion?" And they're judging me. So everyone's being judged on their views, and that's why I think your views should be played carefully. And it's very much for the same for religion. I can find that to be quite difficult within a relationship, though. If you've got one faith believer or another faith believer, if they mix, or you got one who is, one's an atheist. I mean, is there religion in your relationship? Is that a thing?
When we first got together, and especially when we moved here, Lenore used to go to church most Sundays.
Right.
And I'd stay at home with kids, and then she took the kids sometimes. And then she said to me, like, come along. I thought, might as well. I can't exactly say no. She's asked me to come along with her.
Mm.
And then, I think it was like 2 years later, I ended up getting confirmed.
Was that Catholic?
No, Church of England.
Right.
I had to think about that. But it was just like, I don't know, just like, didn't really think anything of it. I wasn't like an atheist. I wasn't like, agnostic or anything like that. Just didn't really bother me. It wasn't like up on my priorities of
Things
life,
to be.
really.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But then it was like, it turned out to be quite nice, really. But that was the weird thing. It was like, because I wasn't against it or for it. It was just a case it wasn't my thing. Now it is.
Well,
but for Lenora, it was always her thing. But then it's a weird thing, because when you was getting like saying like you can't tell people where you stand or where you stand with this, where you stand with that. I don't think anyone should ever be afraid of saying where they stand or what their opinion is, because like I couldn't care less what someone does or what they believe in, or if they believe in something else, or if they support this party, or if they're gay, straight, or whatever. As long as it doesn't affect me negatively,
it's fine.
Really could care less.
Absolutely. And I think that's sort of the sad bit of me feeling slightly. I do feel like I have to tread so carefully these days. And I wouldn't say it's the fact I'm scared. I think it's the cancel culture. And
it is you could be mobbed even having no opinion. You can be mobbed just for like that, just for saying like, even like where I just said I couldn't care less, you can get mobbed for something like that. Because like, well, why do I have to care? Why do I have to do something that suits your agenda just because it benefits you and no one else?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much out there as well. It's like everyone likes to be a part of something, and I understand that. I do get that. It probably is. I mean, I'm not part of anything but football fans. Even that, I've fallen out of love with over the last year. So to be part of something, I'm sure there's that's great, and there's benefits to it. And you see people, like-minded people, to spend your time with people that perhaps care for you. That's a great thing. But it just turns so sour so quick, and it's gone like to tribe wars, if you know what I mean.
Oh
Where
yeah.
you've got, I mean, the one I see a lot, I just see it explode on again Twitter. I very much watch. I don't get involved anymore. I tweet me a bit about football, and that's about it. And because it's just such an unsteady format, because people can be anonymous, and as soon as anyone's anonymous, they will say anything they fucking want. So it's always unsteady ground. But you've got the LGBTQ, then all the other bits that come after it. Plus, yeah, all the other bits over it. I'm not afraid to it, and I'm very much on the stance, which I think most people are. Do whatever makes you happy, mate. You want to celebrate it? You fucking celebrate it, okay? You want rights? Absolutely, I believe in it. But it doesn't mean that I need to wear booty shorts and take a day off work. Okay, again, you do you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a case. That's what it comes back to when I say, like, unless it affects my life negatively, unless it does something to me in a negative way, I couldn't care less.
No,
really couldn't care less. But then it's one of those things. Just because you're the way you are doesn't mean I have to agree with it. I'm not going to stop you doing that. I'm not going to tell you you're doing something wrong.
Well, we don't have the right to, first and foremost. I mean,
exactly.
some people feel they do, but then again, that's no. I think it takes. I have to say, and this is probably a very closed way of looking at it. I think a lot of maturity comes into it, and also that not every action does need a reaction, because when you react to some bits, you can sort of lower yourself. I had it last year. Last year, I had someone send me some fucking horrendous comments, actually, from perfectly honest, or some bad messages. And in the end, I just called them out on YouTube, just mentioned them during one of my videos, read out exactly what they said, and just went. And if all your friends that are watching my videos and all that other stuff, well, do me a favor and please subscribe. Right, as bold as that. So I could have lowered myself and said some fucking horrible shit that probably would have given them PTSD and all this other sort of business. But I'm better than that. I don't need to sink to that level. And the thing is, as soon as you say anything inflammatory to anyone, they just go and they sink because they respond. And I feel that's where maturity comes into it. Because someone says something, hey, it's fucking ridiculous. I don't need to be the one to tell them that.
Yeah, I mean, so if they're happy, let them be happy.
Yeah,
if they're not hurting anyone, just let them do it. Just, like, really, who the fuck cares?
Exactly. I do find it quite difficult. I worry for like our kids growing up, because I don't know what sort of world they're going to be growing into.
It's definitely not our world.
No,
when we were growing up, it's definitely far from it.
I mean, as we said at the start, we were sort of the last ones to grow up without everything available on your phone. So I mean,
well, we barely had the internet when we were growing up. I think it was only when we just went into secondary school, like 11 years old, was when the internet was just starting to like go into houses and things like that. And that's when we had to dial up and things like that.
After 6 p.m. That was with the 56k modem. Fucking hell, yeah. Cool. I'm on like, I don't even know, 100 meg now where I am now. I used to get 56k. It's outrageous, isn't it?
But then that 56k was so fast.
Oh yeah. After 10 minutes of connecting you up.
That noise was great.
Nightmare. Anyway, we can astray again. See, that's the only thing when you get on very well, we do go astray. But yes, yeah. Also, Nathan Heaney, as he said on the screen, fucking well done, boy. Right. I tell you, one thing we did catch on, because I'm glad we're not sort of redoing the whole conversation last time, because it's the second time we've spoken. We did talk about kids and obviously keeping things alive with kids. I think we can sort of make that question a lot bigger now, given that kids are an immediate stress and strain, but we've also had some more stresses and strains over the last year and a half. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Could you see like the number in breakups, divorces, and that go boom? I think this would have been a test in time.
I mean, like, if you're unhappy in your relationship and then as soon as lockdown's just started, that's not going to be helpful, really, is it?
No, it's going to exacerbate it.
No, and especially if you've got kids and things like that, that's a difficult situation.
I think it's also because you can't, or you couldn't, and still can't take yourself away from that situation. Um, so you sort of got to, put up with it. And I know myself, when I've been in a situation I don't like, if I had to stay there, I'm not rethinking it, cooling down and thinking, well, maybe I was a bit off. I'm getting more angry and more, I'm off to that point. So if I was living with someone for a few months and I had to stay there, I'd be like, I've got to get out of this. And then
It
whatever,
will, it, will- it will fuck you up. It would. It would
exactly,
fuck. I think it would probably fuck me up something. Just like, because like, stay here and be unhappy, leave the house, and as soon as you walk around the corner, Bobby pulls you over. Where you going? What are you doing?
yeah,
Back in your house. So I think
back
this is
you
the
go.
worst time.
I think it's certainly a testing time. I mean, on some social media formats that I've certainly looked into, everyone's like, "Oh, I'm going to be single for summer 2021." And it's like, right, okay. And there's bound to be some people that had some bad stuff. I mean, they did use domestic abuse as a reason to leave home, which I mean, you can't think of a worse fucking time. You're not allowed to go anywhere if you're suffering with that. Because
Yeah,
obviously,
you're stuck at home.
exactly, it goes both ways as well. I mean, they're saying that there's a huge number of fellas that suffer it because, again, it's no one wants to tell anybody that your bird's beating you up. I mean, I don't care how bad it is. The people that have come forward with it, I mean, there is sort of that immediate embarrassment, and everyone says you shouldn't be embarrassed, but you are. You know,
Of course you are. Of
you
course, because
fight.
you see, it's like as a guy, you're supposed to be like unstoppable. You know, whenever you see one of your mates, as much as like things are going shit in your life, and you could literally be literally on your wits end. If they said, "You all right, mate? How's it going?" You'd be like, "Yeah, not bad, you."
Yeah, because you don't want
It's
to put people. You don't want to be a burden. I did have a message earlier in the week. A friend of mine having a bit of a tough time, and he just sort of said, "How did I deal with sort of a similar situation?" I said to him, "I said, like, your mates are there. You can lean on them." I said, "Also, what you're feeling, we've all felt at one point or another, mate. You know, I don't want to be a burden." I'm like, "You ain't a burden," but it's that immediate first thought, isn't it?
but then when it all comes out, you probably like I've never been like through that, but like I can imagine if my mate was going through something like that and he didn't tell me because he didn't want to be a burden, and then when it all comes out, I'll be saying, "You're a fucking idiot. Why don't you tell me?"
Exactly. I had the same. I was having a real tough time. I was actually living with a friend, um, and yeah, I was having it real tough. I just locked myself away. I thought, no, because you've been nice enough, or you and your wife been nice enough to let me stay in your spare room. You don't need
Yeah, the
dreary
last thing
me.
you want is my shit. Like,
Exactly that. And he caught me, to be fair, because well, I'm glad he did, but I don't know how else I would have dealt with it. But he caught me. I just burst into tears and all that. And he said, take your seat. And as soon as I told him, we're here to help you out, Steve. We understand. And I never expected that response because, again, because we're so far up our own arse as fellas, we forget that people can sympathise with our situation. And I don't know. Do you think that's going to get better? Because I sort of see it's gone too far. I think
it's
there's
weird. It's like because the world stopped, really, especially our country. It's like stopped for the last year.